So there's three kinds of ginseng. There's Chinese ginseng, there's Siberian ginseng, and there's American ginseng. So which one should you take? Let's talk about it. I'm Dr. Patrick Jones from the HomeGrown Herbalist School of Botanical Medicine, and I want to talk a little bit about ginsengs today. And we got three flavors that folks use, and that you've probably heard of. One is Asian ginseng, or they sometimes call it Chinese ginseng or red ginseng. They often call it by its species name, which is Panax Ginseng. All right, that's one of them. The other one is Siberian ginseng, which is Eleutherococcus senticosus. The third one is American ginseng, and that is Panax quinquefolius. So let me just tell you a little bit about each one of those, okay? So Panax ginseng or Asian ginseng, again, they call it Korean ginseng, they call it red ginseng, has a lot of names. The species is Panax ginseng, all right? That's, if you're looking for it, look by the species name, which is a good idea anytime you're trying to find information about herbs. Use the Latin species name, because there's all kinds of variations in American names of plants, in English names, common names, I should say. There's probably been variations in the Spanish common names and the Czechoslovakian common names. Use the Latin name. So Panax ginseng is native to China. It's native to Korea. It grows in some parts of Russia, but mostly China and Korea. And the root's the medicine on all three of these plants. Okay, the root's the medicine. And the name Panax ginseng, the species name, Panax comes from the Greek word panikos, which means cure-all, right? So the thing that fixes everything. And ginseng, they think, comes from a Chinese word, ren shen, which means man root, okay? Because the root of Panax ginseng is sort of shaped like a body. You know, it's kind of, sometimes it has arms and legs. It kind of looks like somebody buried a little guy, right? Little doll. And so Panax ginseng is the cure-all man root. Siberian ginseng is sometimes called eleuthero in the trade. That comes from the Latin name. The Latin name's Eleutherococcus senticosus, okay? It's native to Russia. I mean, that's why they call it Siberian ginseng, right? China, it grows in Japan. Those are where it grows natively. I mean, you can grow, you can cultivate these plants in other places. I saw a really beautiful Siberian ginseng plant down in Utah not very long ago, doing very well. So let's look at the Latin name, Eleutherococcus senticosus. Eleuthero means free or liberal or abundant. Okay, so in other words, it fixes everything too. It's like panikos to Panax. Eleuthero, same thing. It means it fixes a lot of stuff. Okay, so Eleutherococcus, eleuthero means free or liberal in its benefits. Coccus means berries. Okay, so it's the liberal berry plant. And senticosus is from the Latin word sentis, which means thorns, and cosus, which means abundant. Okay, so Eleutherococcus senticosus is the abundant liberal berry plant that's covered with abundant thorns. Okay, so it's got berries and it's got thorns, and it's good for a lot of things. Okay, that's what the Latin is saying, right? They recently changed the genus name of this plant to Acanthopanax, because the only way to get a graduate degree in botany is to rename something, okay? Because everything's already been named, so now we got to rename stuff. Anyway, now it's Acanthopanax. They changed that back in the 80s, if I remember right. Everybody still calls it Eleutherococcus senticosus. That's still what everybody in the trade calls it. But if you're a hardcore serious botanist, it's Acanthopanax senticosus. And Panax, we already said, is cure-all, right? And acantho is thorns or spines. So it's kind of the same name, but they rearranged the taxonomy a little bit. So Eleutherococcus senticosus, Acanthopanax senticosus, Siberian ginseng, same plant. American ginseng is a plant that grows in America. Big surprise there, right? This one is in the same genus as Panax ginseng, the Chinese ginseng. but it's Panax quinquefolius, all right? And it grows in the Appalachian Mountains. It grows around the Great Lakes. So, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, up into New York a little bit, Wisconsin, around the Great Lakes. And it's sort of a deep forest, shade-loving plant. That's where you're going to find it, which is why it likes those areas. Again, Panax is from Panacos, which means cure-all, right? And quinquefolius, the species name, means 5 leaves. Okay, so it's the 5-leaved cure-all plant. The other 2 guys have 5 leaves too. Okay, don't let them fool you. But anyway, American ginseng, Panax, and quinquefolius is the species. So what do? Well, honestly, they have very, very similar actions. Very, very similar. They're all adaptogens, which means that they relieve stress and they help the body adapt to stressful conditions and, turn off the stress hormones and get you back to normal. They all increase energy and endurance and resilience and mental stress. They all have immune stimulating properties. They all improve cognitive function and awareness and memory. They all have some neuroprotective properties for brain injury, post-stroke or post-concussion, stuff like that. They all have benefits on fertility and libido, erectile dysfunction, infertility. They're good for all that stuff. They all can lower blood sugars a little bit. Basically, they all do everything. I mean, they're really, really phenomenally good whole body tonics. They do all kinds of good things for the body. And we're not going to get into all the things they do here because it's we don't have a 3-hour YouTube video. So the question is, why would you take one over the other? Okay. So there's some pros and cons. And the pros and cons don't really have much to do with their effects or their benefits or their actions. They have a lot more to do with the energy of the plants, okay, and the response your body has to the plants, all right? So let's talk about some differences. First of all, on a safety level, Siberian ginseng is considered to be safe during pregnancy and during lactation. The other 2 aren't, okay? So if a person is pregnant or nursing a baby, Siberian ginseng is okay. American ginseng is not okay. And Panax ginseng, the Asian ginseng, not okay. Don't take either of those, all right? And don't take any herb if you're pregnant or nursing without talking to a physician. Don't listen to some bozo on YouTube that's telling you stuff, okay? But it's generally considered safe, Siberian ginseng, for pregnancy and lactation. Siberian ginseng is also much less expensive than the other 2. I went to a website today just to check, a very prominent, good quality website that sells powdered herbs. Siberian ginseng was $20. Panax ginseng was $300 for a pound. And American ginseng was $340. So, Siberian ginseng's quite a lot less expensive at $20 a pound than the other 2 kids, which are $300 and $350 a pound. All right. But that's not the whole reason either. The most important reason to me is their impact on the body. And all of the impacts are good, but they might be better for some applications than others. Okay, let's talk about what that means. I already said they have very similar actions. Okay, they're all going to wake you up. If you need a kick in the pants at the 3 in the afternoon, instead of a caffeinated soda pop, you can take any one of those ginsengs and it'll wake you up and get you past 3 in the afternoon without a Mountain Dew. Okay, they'll all do that. They'll all do all the other stuff we talked about. But the intensity of the body's response is different. So let me give you an example. Okay, Panax ginseng is like a general kicking down your front door and barking orders, and everybody jumps up, "Sir, yes, sir," and they start doing all the things he yells at them to do, and they all do it right. It's not like they're doing anything wrong, right? But it takes a lot of energy and a lot of resources to make the general happy. Okay, well, that's great if you're 20 or 30 and need a kick in the pants to get things going. Fantastic, right? But what if you're sick? What if you're elderly? What if you're convalescing from a long illness? What if you're a younger person? You know, it just takes a lot of resources. By contrast, Siberian ginseng and also American ginseng do all the same things. You know, they improve cognitive function and they wake you up and they improve your immune system and fertility and, you know, the function of about everything else in your body. They do all the same stuff, but they do it in a very way. So instead of the general kicking your door down, Siberian ginseng and American ginseng are the nice neighbor lady that comes in and she's got a pot of soup and a blanket and some magazines and you're laying on the couch. She says, you just rest, love. I'll take care of everything, right? She puts a blanket on you, gives you a magazine to read, and she goes in and washes the dishes and cleans the house and reads the kids a story and puts them to bed and makes some dinner for tomorrow and puts it in the fridge, and it costs you nothing. All right? It's just way less taxing to the body. All right? And so for a person that's, like I said, elderly, convalescing from an illness, already exhausted and depleted, Siberian ginseng and American ginseng are going to be a little better. Okay? Like I said, if you're pregnant or nursing, Siberian's the only one that ought to be taken. The other two are not safe. But all three of them have their place. The American is slightly less taxing than the Siberian, but the Siberian isn't different enough, in my mind, to pay the extra $320 a pound for the American. Okay, they're pretty equivalent action-wise for me, in my opinion. One of the interesting things that I've noticed about Siberian ginseng is that people that take it, people that I put on Siberian ginseng for whatever I'm putting them on it for, always tell me that they sleep better. And don't take it as a bedtime tea because it'll wake you up, right? It's a stimulant. But people that take it during the day, you know, they're taking it in the morning or they're taking it early afternoon, they always tell me they sleep better. And why is that? Why does a stimulant make you sleep better? Well, because it's a stimulant to brain function and neurotransmitter function, and it makes your brain do what it's supposed to do. And one of the things your brain is supposed to do is have you go to sleep later, right? So, you know, it's producing melatonin, it's producing neurotransmitters. It's getting everything working like it should, all right? So that's just another side benefit of Siberian. So less taxing to the body, way less expensive, $20 a pound instead of $300, and makes you sleep better, and is safe for pregnancy and nursing. So unless you want the intensity of Panax, or unless you're feeling very patriotic and want to buy American ginseng, go with the Siberian. It'll do almost all the same. It does basically all the same things. It's a little bit less taxing, and it has some safety benefits and some economic benefits that are pretty significant. If you want to learn more about all the things these ginsengs do, have a look at the HomeGrown Herbalist School of Botanical Medicine. We have, you know, over 100 lessons on all kinds of, probably over 200 lessons, if I'm thinking about it. There's over 100 just on individual plants. Anyway, there's a lot of lessons, and I mean, the ginsengs are in almost all of them. I mean, they're just so good for so many things. So if you want a deeper understanding, have a look at the HomeGrown Herbalist School. We'd love to see you there. I'm Dr. Patrick Jones. If you like the video, click the little like button, click the subscribe button, and in the comments, tell us what you're doing with ginseng, how it's helping you. I'd love to hear about it. I'm Doc Jones. Thanks for listening.